all this in last night, and after he, my wife and my kid was great, gracious enough to go get it for me, so I didn't even have to go get it. But anyway, I got a lot of this. I got some really fun hardcovers. Some of these will be in the show for this weekend, but I was looking through, I was checking these in, looking these all up, and I came across a bunch of like really expensive Star Wars like paperbacks and all sorts of fun stuff. And then also in this collection, what else did I learn in this collection? Oh, where is it? Oh goodness. There it is. Like this thing right here. Did you know that Transformers had a choose your own adventure book? I didn't. It's called Find Your Fate. And then when I was looking this up, but I was looking this up and I found a bunch of other choose your own adventures too that I didn't know existed. So I thought that was kind of neat. Yeah, COA is cool. Yeah, CYOA. So I was super happy about that. So I figured we'd kind of not necessarily abandon the kind of the show format, but I thought it would be a nice little deviation and extremely helpful because like I know Star Wars, I watch Star Wars, I grew up with Star Wars, I know a lot of the Star Wars mythos, but truth be told, I'm not overly familiar with the book side of it. What books are collectible, what books are even out there, what should I be keeping an eye out on? And the more we know, the more we can advise other people and stuff like that. So let's start with the first one that we found in this collection, and it's actually Transformers. This is probably this little paperback, and I will give this little speech. A lot of times this show is about, beating the scanners and stuff. This is exactly the kind of book that the scanners would leave back. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll know what Transformers is, but they don't generally mess with little mass market paperbacks. So let me show you what I found out last night about this particular little paperback. Alex Irvine here. Now we're going to go to eBay. This is kind of probably more of a BOLO show, but look, this is like a $70 paperback. Now, of course, we want to go over to, to Solds. But yeah, man. So, and look at this one. This one's like trashed. And then this one's still $30. You know what I mean? Like, look. So I didn't realize that there were, I mean, it makes sense. I see Warhammer paperbacks all the time. I'm well trained on picking those up because those can be like randomly really really expensive. Again, I always say this with the preface that all books should be saved, but it is important that we know what we have. You know what I'm saying? Looks definitely does not indicate value, Cassie says. You're absolutely right. It's pretty wild. So, and of course, condition matters. So like these Transformers books, if you guys aren't looking for them, like look at this one. It's $140. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like stoked, and the one I have here is a first print as well. So don't sleep on the Transformers stuff. Shockingly enough, so that's a BOLO, and it's just a little mass market paperback. I mean, look, so it's definitely one of those times where you definitely don't judge a book by every book. LOL. Let's see. What else did we find? The other thing that we found in here, again, the hardcovers were cool. What else did I wanted to show you? Oh, I wanted to show you the Find Your Fate. So the other thing that we found was this Find Your Fate stuff. So what these are, if you guys didn't know, I'll make this a little bigger for you. I'm just kind of showing off some neat books that I found last night. This may not be the longest stream in the world, but it'll be fun. These are Choose Your Own Adventures with Transformers. Here's number 8 here, and I have number 9. what I have here. So I didn't know if you guys knew that this existed, but this is reason 9,946. If you if you come across like a large kid collection and you prevent that kid collection going through the trash, you definitely want to flip through it and make sure that none of this kind of stuff is in there. Because people will collect this. I think I saw, if I'm not mistaken, let's go up here. Sort by highest. I want to say that, okay, so here is a box set. And again, I had no idea this existed. So here's a box set. And that's like $100. A choose your own adventure romance. Oh my goodness. And morning, Angela, if I haven't said good morning yet. But so $120. And remember, we're looking at solds here. So this is absolutely money that's changed hands. I want to say there's like 18 overall in this set. There's more than just the 6. So here's the good one here. 1 through 3, $30. And these are just little itty bitty little paper bags. You'd find these at a garage sale for a quarter, if even that. So, and then while I was looking at this, because ADD is fun, did you know that there was like multiple Find Your Fate books? Did you know? Like, here's an Indiana Jones, The Ape Slaves of Howling Island, $175 paperback. Let's take a look at that one. Look at that. First edition, 1987. So I guess this was like the big thing in the 80s, huh? Oh, I never forgot. I didn't set up that coupon. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, those are cool. And there's a bunch of them. Apparently, if that's number 16, there's 15 before it. Here's a G.I. Joe. So be on the lookout for Find Your Fate is, I guess, the takeaway here. Here's G.I. Joe ones. And I guess that came with a box set. That's rad. I've never seen those either. It's like my childhood right here in a book. How cool is this? Operation Terror Trap. Find your fate today with G.I. Joe. Because knowing is half the battle. I'm Optimus Prime. I got to go watch cartoons. Today's going to be a Saturday morning. G.I. Joe. Kids don't really do that anymore. They don't really sit and watch cartoons on a Saturday morning. So here's James Bond, Find Your Fates. Did you guys know that these existed? I didn't. Written by R.L. friggin' Stein. Did you guys? Small world. Who else we got over here? Oh, how fun. Those are nice shape too. So G.I. Joe, James Bond, Transformers. There's like this Golden Gal one I just learned. Oh, here's Doctor Who. Did you know there was Choose Your Own Adventure Doctor Who's? I didn't. I love this song. This is probably my favorite song of the whole playlist, to be fair. He's away. Dragon Tales, Lone Wolf, what's this about? I appreciate you guys ADDing with me. Curse of the Horror Island. So these are like, okay, so Lone Wolf, that looks like a Find Your Fate. Give Yourself Goosebumps. Like these are the Choose Your Own Adventure, because Goosebumps does have. I did know that. Here's a Doctor Who up here. A bunch of ones I don't recognize. Train of Terror. I've seen this one before. That's cool. G.I. Joe, Indiana Jones. Here's some more Transformers. Here's that box set again. Absorb all the data. Data. Oh my gosh, honey. Come here. So we're looking up Choose Your Own Adventure books. I had no idea.
I would have lost my
My wife's
mind.
a fan.
I would have gone bananas for those.
Look at the Secret of Rainbow Island, it says.
Oh, I would have loved
If you guys don't know who Jim is, Jim and the Holograms, if you're in your 40s, that's like nostalgia gold right there. Oh, here's the Golden Girl I was talking about. So this reminds me of like oh gosh, that game Golden Axe, I would think. But here's that. Golden Girl and the Guardians of the Gemstones. I love those G's. I know. Cassie says, this is a rabbit hole you are starting. I get it, man. The dopamine is a-flowing. So here's a bunch of like mystery related. These are all like $40 paperbacks, guys. And let's be for real. Like, how often are we on Facebook or we're going through Marketplace or whatever, and we see like large boxes of like just kid books. They've been sitting in someone's basement. Grandmas need this space now. The kids are a little older. You know, there's no young kids coming up. You know, and obviously the parents don't want to throw it away. Go pick up those boxes. Like, if nothing else, every book needs to be saved, obviously, but like, go pick up those boxes. I mean, if they're full like 80s and older gold, like you have no idea what's in there. Do you know what I'm saying? And then set up a camera and come unbox it live so we can all watch. We need some Golden Girls. You guys want to? I have a Golden Girls magazine somewhere. Hold on. I have a Betty White magazine from when she was supposed to turn 100. And then, anyway, it's a neat little thing. I've got it somewhere. I can't find it right now. Oh, here's Thundercats. Look at that. What does it say? What do they say? Thundercats, ho! Or whatever they said back in the day. Y'all remember? You remember. The House of Horrors. So that's some horror one. We'll go down this list a little bit longer. See if we can find something else cool. Thundercats. You remember. There you go. This really was like, all we need is like a Voltron. And then we'll be good to go. Turkish Tattoo. This is a good song too. I want these Doctor Who ones. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, like for sure. I love the character Doctor Who. I love what he represents. I love everything about that character. I love how complicated he is. I love that he's not perfect. I love all of it. I think Doctor Who, one of the best things humans have created, hands down. He-Man and She-Ra. We do need a He-Man and She-Ra. If you ever go back and watch some of those shows like as an adult in like present day's context, it's just tell me what you think. You know, sometimes I'll go back and read books I read as a kid, and they hit different. Some of these shows hit a little. I don't think there's a He-Man one, unfortunately. That was just a dream. Am I spelling She-Ra correctly? Is that how you spell She-Ra? I'm not 100% sure. I went back and started that show Dinosaurs. Not great. Yeah, not the mama. That show's cute. Yeah, but I don't know if it holds up. I will say like the animatronics and stuff, they it aged well. I will say that. The last episode of that whole series made me so sad. You know, the inevitability of the Ice Age, or you know. And just that dad looking out the window or whatever the hell it was. Oh, my God. Existential crises. She-Ra. Okay. Is that right? Right, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, none of that. Well, let's take a minute and see what She-Ra books even exist. So let's take it off sold here. We should be able to come up here and just do books. Well, let's take it off. So, are we on sold listings still? Just a dream. See all. Item location now. Now! I want to change it to just the book category. Oh, maybe I just take out Find Your Fate. And then maybe I type Princess of Power. And then maybe, then maybe I go, here's what I want. Okay, cool. Show plus. Books and magazines only. Holy shit. What's this? All right. Before we get down that rabbit hole, let's look at the solds first because, again, anybody can list anything for any price, and we have no idea. Yeah. I was a child, LOL. I don't remember that. I'm the baby got to love. So here's a comic collection. These are, oh, nope, let's stay in the United States, too. Not that I wouldn't buy stuff from across the pond, but. What is this? Oh, my goodness. So did you know that a She-Ra Princess of Power coloring book, unused, somebody will give you $130 for that? You had this? That's probably why people will pay for it, is because they had it as a kid. So again, guys, do not sleep on the kid stuff. Really, really don't. Especially the vintage kid stuff. I can't say the newer contemporary stuff is going to hold this kind of value, but Mattel Toy Catalog, 1986. She-Ra, Masters of the Universe, $125. Wow. I would never have thought. I would have thought that you needed to be a wee bit older than the 80s to have value, because catalogs, especially like old antique catalogs that have like graphics of like steam boilers and all that turn of the century kind of technology, people love the shit out of that stuff, and they'll give you a good amount of money for it. But I didn't realize that, and I mean, it makes sense because like the 80s one, and I hate to say this, is like 30, 40 years ago. But it is, and all that Masters of the Universe stuff, all those cartoons, all of that nostalgia, it's all like, you would think that as we get into our 40s, that's when we have the income, hopefully, not all of us, I don't, but you would think as a society, the older generation gets, the more income that they would have to reclaim their childhood. And of course, as we get older, we all have existential crises, so we want to reclaim our childhood. So Cassie, oh yeah, I will say that this one kind of shocked me, but it shocks me, and then but again, with the Masters of the Universe, like, it's so popular now. Like, when you go to an auction, like, you see boxes of those figures all the time. They always go for so much money. I don't know a ton about toys. I was not really a toy guy growing up. I was more of a book guy. But I did watch the cartoons and stuff just like everybody else. So is this what is this? This is another coloring book, I think. But I will say, to be fair, to this, I didn't realize that it had this kind of value. To be fair, that's really cool. I don't even know what that is. That's the only photo. So, what is this? With bonus inserts. This is one bid on this one. Little magazines. Do you guys have these? What are these? My wife was also a big fan of She-Ra. Yeah, I don't know what those are. So basically, if it has She-Ra on it, pick it up. So magazines. Here's another. That's another coloring book. $50 on the coloring book. Another coloring book. $50. Set of 4 princess. These are large golden books, is what they are. So let me see. $40 on all these. Probably because it's Sears catalogs too. Yeah, Cass, I'm still poor. Yeah, yeah, I'm super poor. Probably because you buy too many books. I hear you. So weird. I just can't imagine buying an old catalog. It's for collectors. This is for completionists. Think of the guy whose basement you go into, and then the walls are covered in whatever it is that person's into, whether it be Rick and Morty like I've done in the past, whether it be comic books in general, whether it be Alien vs. Predator. I read about a guy, or saw an interview or something about a guy that is like in love with ketchup. He collects ketchup oriented things, old bottles, old memorabilia, old ads, whole basement covered in ketchup. Yeah, people like, we're all autistic kids, man. There's an autistic kid for everything, I promise. And I say that with respect, being one of those autistic kids. But, who knows? Like, I've met all sorts of collectors, to be fair, autistic and not. I read about someone who, the inverse of the ketchup, I met a mustard one. Then I've read about someone who collects just old dishwashers and stuff, and he restores them and he decorates his house in old dishwashers. Coca-Cola, people like will deck out their whole house in Coca-Cola. Just goes on and on, man. People are into stuff. And then so the people who buy the catalog are those completionists that have all of the toys, or it's a really serious collector that's going to use the catalog for a reference thing, right? And then that way they can identify future pieces down the line. That's one of the reasons why antique catalogs get kind of pricey real fast, because that may or may not have been like scanned into the internet zeitgeist, and sometimes that might be the only source of that information. Do you know what I mean? I'm part of the vintage community on YouTube. We collect all kinds of stuff. Yeah, man. Like and I am no gatekeeper in any way. If it tickles your brain and gets that dopamine flowing, I'm gonna find you some of it for your collection. And I love one of my absolute most favorite things to do. And maybe at some point, we do interviews and stuff with the channel, and we kind of meet people and then allow people to kind of like showcase their collections. Cause one of my favorite conversations to have is with and I say this with respect, like a weird dude or a weird gal with a weird collection. Like, tell me all the fuck about it. I want to know everything. And they will pick up any piece in that collection and give you a 20-minute dissertation on where they got it, how they got it, what it is, the whole deal. And their face is so full of joy. They could be 60-something years old and look like a 5-year-old with a lollipop, just happy as a clam. And I dig that. I think it's one of the most purest states that we can be in as a human being. And I love it. I love the energy. No notes. Be weird. Be unapologetically weird. If it makes you happy and it's consensual and it doesn't hurt anybody, more power to you. But your freedom does end at my face. Anyway, that's my little speech there. I really get excited. I think this world really, really kind of makes people not willing to go down their weird rabbit trails. Again, with the caveat that it's safe and consent. That's always a caveat. But, so we end up like being repressed as adults instead of being these weird, fun things that we always should have been. So unleash your weird, friends. Don't be ashamed. Just be fucking weird. We ain't got time to be anything else. Anyway, She-Ra, Princess of Power. Let's do He-Man while we're here. In his little tights. He-Man. So manly. Sorry. I had a neighbor as a kid who collected precious moments, and it was her whole house. Yep, that's super cool. Totally into it. Kind of a bummer though on precious moments. They are way more popular, and there hasn't been a whole lot of people that have joined that group. This brings up another good point, because people collected the shit out of precious moments, right? And now that like the younger folks don't really want them, so they're kind of sitting in their drop. There's still some, but like again, not a whole lot of collectors kind of joined that community. And I don't know exactly I don't know if the business did something. I don't know anything about it, but I wanted to point out, like, book people, comic book people, gaming people, like, we need to be chill and like accept more people into the community, right? We should guide people on their way in and not be like, every once in a while, especially comic collectors, I'll meet a really haughty comic collector that kind of like squashes people's excitement. When we do that, no matter what the hobby or the trade or the community is, we're killing ourselves. Like, we're making our community smaller. Like, we have to have a future for our stuff. Right. And the only way we have a future for our stuff is if we bring more people into the community. So like, we need to be cool and chill and helpful and especially with books. Book people are generally pretty chill, but we need to get everybody reading. Like, we don't need, like, for book people, like, we need to never make fun of anybody for whatever it is they're reading. We need to just be happy that they're reading. You know what I'm saying? It's like crazy. Yeah, Cassie, exactly. There isn't a lot of demand. It's you see that Beanie Babies to a certain extent have kind of fallen by the wayside. Funko Pops are still going pretty hard. I was a huge Funko Pop collector for a while, but but yeah, like, no gatekeeping allowed. This is a gatekeep free zone. I want everyone to love Resident Evil and Fallout. I love both of those things. More demand, more stuff for me to buy. And that's another good point, Cassie, is that if there's a robust community that supports whatever genre it is that in this case, you bring up Resident Evil and Fallout, more Resident Evil fans, more Fallout fans, more Fallout, more Resident Evil material, because there's a financial incentive to continue to create. Everybody wins. There's a group of people want it, and there's a group of folks that can make it. You need both. So be nice, be cool, love everybody, read books. That's the short story. So these are all little records thing. I was hoping for something a little more expensive than what this is. Action. He-Man. Let's do vintage book. Let's see what comes up. Not vintage. Vintage book. So that's my speech. So here's another vintage Sears catalog. 1984 seems to be the year. Christmas catalog, Wish book, Star Wars, He-Man, GoBots, Atari. That's like all my favorite words. So here's some golden books. I think these are what these are. These are pretty cool. It looks like the She-Ra stuff is a bit cooler, to be fair. Like insofar as collectability of the books. Figures that us meathead men don't have many books. And I'm allowed to make fun of my own gender. I make fun of everything. It's equal opportunity. So these are cool. I see these cassette ones every now and then. Men are a bunch of meatheads. We really are. Like we need to go so far. I used to work with young dudes and like when I was a youth pastor, like adjacent for a while. And I always worked with the rough kids who were most of the time just ADHD kids that the normies couldn't handle. So we went and caused chaos in Jesus' name. Nah, it was fun. So coloring books here again. It is. The world doesn't know what to do with somebody who can't sit in the fucking chair. You know what my solution is? Don't make them. Seems easy to me. If the kid wants to go play in the woods, go let him play in the woods. The guy wants to go build something, let him build something. You know, I really don't like how we do schooling in our country. Sometimes I feel school is like, ooh, this is even written in. It's like glorified babysitting just so people can go to work. So more. Oh, look at this, 2 for $1. And it's still selling for like $20. 1984, that was the year. Also George Orwell's book. So you guys kind of get the idea here. I was really excited. Let's look up the Star Wars real quick, because that's actually what we came out to do. I was pretty shocked coming through. Like I said, I know that like in like Mech Warrior and like Warhammer, a lot of those books have like a really low print run. And all right, we're in the right format. Let's shut that. Let's go to buying format, all listings, best match. Let's look at the expensive stuff. Always more fun, right? What am I looking at? Filter. No, I hit the wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just dorking around here. I want to go to completed listings is what I want to do. That's how I do it right there, right? Buying format, price, shipping. So all the way. Oh, here we go. Just needed to scroll down a little further. So we're going to sold items because we want to know when money is actually exchanged hands. Okay, so this is this is not a book, but that is a figure, and that is a 3,000, or at least an Aussie dollars. Okay, let's add a few more filters here. Few more filters. Let's go U.S. only. And then let's go, I think that was the last one. And then we got to make sure we're in books. We are in books. Okay, here we go. Star Wars. So this book here, is a $1,000 book. What is this about? Dressing the Costumes of Star Wars by Trisha Begar. What is this? Look at this. Oh, it's like a whole thing. Look at that. I wonder how many were made. Did you guys know this existed? Actual costume fabrics? Oh, wow. That's Grievous there, isn't it? Cool. So that's how many dollary dues is that? That's a $1,400 book, guys. School as we know it was meant to generate factory workers. Amen. Smart enough to press the button, but not smart enough to ask why the button needs to be pressed, right? That's kind of the fastest way I always describe that. I see a lot Futurama. They canceled twice, and people were like, nope, I love Futurama. Probably the best thing on TV, to be fair. This is Agatha Christie. Not sure why that's in there. Star Wars Armada. What's this? That's that same book, The Dressing a Galaxy. So be on the lookout for that one. So you'll see a lot of this kind of stuff. The hardcovers, especially when you can get them all together, or can get really pricey because some of these hardcovers get really, really hard to find. So this is it's $850 this lot was, but it's hardcovers 1 through 49. So, and they seem to be all in great shape. Coruscant Nights Omnibus, which is kind of funny because I have the Coruscant Nights 1, 2, and 3, the trilogy right here in paperback form, though. So be on the lookout for that one. This is cool. The Dark Side. What's this? See original listing. Is this like a script? What's with the fucking the pentagram? What is this, Michael? What are we doing? Sculptor of the Silver Statue of Sith. Who is Michael Aquino? Do you guys know who Michael Aquino is? Is he just like a prolific author within the genre, or like what's the deal? Does he worship the devil? No, I'm kidding. Did you know Star Wars had their own encyclopedia set? I didn't. Look at this. 0 through, what's that, 44? 45? Oh, and more? 86. Oh, how fun. I like this song too. Yep, had no idea that existed. Here's another Dressing a Galaxy. I wonder how many of those there were. The book Dressing the Galaxy, released from the Star Wars franchise, is a limited edition book. How many copies are in existence? Just out of curiosity. So we'll let that figure that out. Natalie Portman Fable signed $600 book. What's this? So I don't know if you guys remember, but the other day we were talking about gutter codes and how to identify like first editions and stuff. This is what this is referencing, I believe. This code S27. Let's see if he took a photo of it. So sometimes you have to get into like the gutter code to figure out which actual print it is. So I will say this out from the gate. Any Star Wars hardcover, especially if it's like early 90s and 80s and older, like 100% pick it up. Like it could be hundreds of dollars. Like it's probably not. It's probably $2 or $3, $4 or $5 like the rest of them. But every once in a while you'll just get a banger, man. And it won't even necessarily look like a banger when you pick it up because we're so inundated with that content, you know. Book Club have a number on the interior flap. Yeah, here it is right there. Is that different from a gutter code? Because I know sometimes the gutter. Let's just ask. So going back to the question about the Dressing a Galaxy, 2,500 copies, including 1,000 signed copies. So there you go. Okino was a piece of shit. I have no idea who he is. What did he do? Out of curiosity. And what was I asking? What is a gutter code? And Exactly. All right, let's look that up. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've seen him as an author on a couple of books, but I don't know anything about him personally. Timothy Zahn's another one that I see a lot of. Here's another limited edition. I will also say this, folks. If you ever got an opportunity to buy like a Star Wars collection sight unseen, and assuming that it isn't going for like $1 bajillion, probably worth it to just pick it up. Child sexual abuse, high priest of Temple of Oh, okay. Cassie says child sex abuse, high priest of the Temple of Set. He was a Satanist, committed suicide before he could be charged in 2019. Damn. Yeah, I had no idea. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. Is that just a hardcover? Why is that $500? Oh, it's some kind of script, maybe? Here's another Dressing the Galaxy. So even the non-signed copies, $500. Oh, this is cool. Did you know that Carrie Fisher signed a Franklin? Did you even know there was an Easton Press Franklin? Like Star Wars? What? I had no idea. Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's cool. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that spine. I want this on my. Look at that. It is Delusions of Grandma. Oh, wait a minute. Is this Star Wars related, or is this like a biography? Delusions of Grandma. What a fun name. What is Delusions of Grandma about? By Carrie Fisher. So gutter code is a small printed identifier, usually a string of letters, numbers, or a combination found in the gutter of a book, which is the inner margin near the spine where the pages are about. Okay, so if it's in the middle or the back, if it's tucked into that space, that's called the gutter. And I didn't know that was like the official name for like that space of the book. So I learned that today. I'm learning a lot today. Collectors, wait, I gotta hit enter. All right, so we'll let that look up. We'll turn this off. So yeah, maybe it's not Star Wars, but it's still cool nonetheless. So Dressing a Galaxy, Shadow Games. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, you couldn't really tell this from any other book, just looking at it, right? But it's like a $400 book from 2011. Like, I guess the only reason for this is that, completionist and low print. Is that what we think? And then obviously Star Wars is hot and huge. Probably will be forever. So, yeah, 2000. It's wild. 2000 is a fictional version of her life. Oh, okay, that'd be cool. That's the only thing I can think of. It like if it's not signed, it's not maybe a misprint or something. I know sometimes people go crazy over the misprints. Yeah, I don't know. Pick it up. Just pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Sculpting a Galaxy. This is cool. So we'll go down. Lots more Dressing the Galaxy. All 2,500 copies are on eBay. So Shadow Games. Here's another one. So it's not like a fluke even. Oh, these are cool. These look like elvish. Look at these. High Republic collection. Damn, that was $250 new. Holy shit. That is so much money. Cool books, though. Thrawn. Toy Guide. This is kind of neat. This is from 2003. Star Wars vintage action figures. So people love this stuff. Collectors especially, because it's all in one place. And I know this stuff can be looked on the internet and all that, but sometimes having the book really helps. Having that visual guide, having everything at your fingertips, and plus it's like part of the collection, So I try not to sleep on that stuff. In general, like if I'm out and about, I try to pick up every identifying guide of almost like of anything, whether it be glass or pottery or books in this case or whatever. I just like to flip through and here's another Delusions of Grandma. That's so funny. So Darth Plagueis, Inkstone. Make these photos a little bigger for you so you can see them. This is cool. What is this? 2020 Custom Parks Edition. So this is some sort of like, look at that. I don't think I've ever seen a book bound in that way. It looks like leather on the side here. Do you guys see this? It's kind of neat. Yeah, I've never seen that binding in all of my whole life. My bajillion years on this planet. Here's Dark Forces trilogy. Super fun. Is that those are DVDs. No, they're books. They're books. Oh, I like this style of paper. So that's cool. So real quick, I want to show the paperbacks. And really kind of just drive the point home that, like, if you're out, because again, the kind of point of the show is like, to beat the scanners, you know what I'm saying? And the scanners are the folks that, they go in, to a set of books and they beep, 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 beep. Oh, what was that one? I'm sorry. Let me look that one back up. I think it was at the bottom here, wasn't it? Oh, this one here. Star Wars Myth and Fables 2020 Custom Parks Edition. So this would likely have been some sort of like low print giveaway or something from some sort of actual park. I do know that Star Wars does, there's a comic that they gave to like the people who worked on their park, and it's like only $1,000. It's a comic book for like $2,000. Yeah, I have no idea. I've never seen it. It's really cool. Here's that binding again for folks. I mean, that almost looks like you could do this in like, this is very high quality. I'm not like knocking the quality here, but like, I wonder if we could do this at our house, just like a leather punch, nice little strap of leather, sew it on the one side. I mean, I don't know if you could, you know what I'm saying? I was irritated at my recent library sale because they were all over and holding up. Yeah, Cassie. So, and that's, it can be quite frustrating, and they're generally not nice, and they feel like entitled to the stuff. So part of it, and I go to the Goodwill bins all the time, and there's scanners in there all the time. And again, I have a love-hate relationship. I think I'm very happy that they're like, the books aren't hitting the trash. And they put in the work, they get in there early, they show up in the lines and they wait. So it's like part of you's got to respect the hustle. The other part of it's like, I want to see the books before you just take them away. Why you take them away? The thing that bothers me is that, like, a lot of times, like at the book Goodwill bins, is they'll go through, they'll bring their carts. It's a team of them. They will fill all of the carts with books. They won't even look at them. They don't even know what they're pulling. They're just looking for barcodes. And then they put them all in the cart, and then they drive them off. So and they don't let anybody else look through them. They haven't seen them. They're just pulling them in the cart. And then once they get as many of the books out of the bins as they can, about 30 minutes in, they will stand by the carts and scan each one and throw the ones back. The downside is that a lot of the customers have already left. So they're throwing books back only to have they're probably going to be thrown away because, no one will just, because the customers are gone. So beat the scanners if you can. And one of the things that the scanners leave behind are the paperbacks, which is, I'm coming full circle now. Where did I put it? They never mess with the paperbacks because they for whatever reason, they're looking for the hardcovers with the big scores. And for whatever reason, they think that is a higher percentage. And they're not necessarily wrong, from mathematically, but I do understand they're doing a job, but maybe for libraries, let them start day 2 for realsies. Or like for the first hour or two, just don't let, it's tough because like you can say no electronic devices, right? But then that's not going to work because normal people aren't going to want to go in there without their devices. So I get it. I do. I wish there was a way to I try to actually talk to mine and like try to at least get them to like, as they're pulling, have one guy scanning so they can be throwing books back while there's still customers in there. Not that it's any of my damn business, but I don't like to see the books that get thrown away. So, A couple sales near me said no scanners. Yeah, it's kind of getting to that way. People kind of resent it a little bit. Because like it just feels like those guys are in there just taking all the good stuff off the top, and like the thrill of going out to the thrift stores or to the library sales, like that thrill of really finding something that you'd want to read, something with a really popular that a scanner would pick up because it has a high sales through, right? They're in there, and if you got to get up early to beat them. So, but these books here, these are absolutely books that they don't pick up. If it's a paperback, at least my scanners, they never mess with them. So I can go in there and get goosebumps. They just throw it all back. So, and the sad thing is like, I realize that may not necessarily be what you're in there to find. But again, if you can find like a copy of Rage, right, which good luck, God love you if you do, you sell it and you go just buy whatever it is that you want. So, and you hate to be that way, but I mean, it's a chess game, right? And you didn't necessarily get to define your board that you're playing on, but you do get to decide how you're going to play on the board, if you're going to play on the board. Does that make sense? So, I mean, I am not selling and I went to so it's a bummer that I have 20 bags by the time dude, that's what I'm saying. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Because they just grab it. They don't necessarily even scan it half the time. And then they scan it and they'll put it back. Or they'll do the little, I've seen one where they have a scanner on their finger. So they just go boop, 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 boop. It's so fast. So, but yeah, but what will happen is if they get there before you, any of the high sales through rate books are gone because they'll just take them off the top. They won't even look at the title. They don't even care what the title is. And I think that's what bugs people. You know what I'm saying? They don't. It's like a lack of respect. It's like cheating. It's like treating the things that we find so special as mere commodities. You know what I mean? Which I think is off-putting. Isn't necessarily wrong per se, unless you're a book person. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, it really kind of does. It almost feels disrespectful. Like they don't mean it that way. They truly don't. I mean, I've had long conversations with these folks. They really don't look at it that way, but it is kind of that way, but it isn't that way. You know what I'm saying? It's a nuanced. So these are not kind of what I want to look at for like this kind of stuff. Like this is just a little paperback. You know, it's cool. You would pick this up if you've seen it, but you wouldn't necessarily, then you'd get it home and you'd look it up and go, holy shit. Holy shit. So that's a $300 paperback, 1976, first edition. Boom, boom. Also, my scanners, they also don't do antique anything. Like I can walk in there on any given day and walk out with a cart full of vintage cookbooks. I mean, really vintage anything. One time I found in there an early 1900s 2-volume set of, the 1904 World's Fair. Like one volume was all photos. And then the other volume was like a detailed execution of how they pulled it off. It was a very, very neat piece. I ended up selling it locally to, because I live in St. Louis. World's Fair is a big deal here. I sold it locally to one of my friends for like $300. He got married in that area. So it's like part of his like decorations of his house for him and his wife because they got married in the place. Super fucking cool. And, yeah, do you hear? That's what they do. They don't even look at them. What they do is they go home. They have a little app. They put them in a box and they go off to Amazon, and then Amazon poops them out. And they only make like $1 or $2, $3 a book. You know what I mean? Amazon takes like a lot, like 20-30% or something, right? And if they're selling like trade editions, which and every once in a while they'll get like a hardcover banger, but yeah, generally when I'm approached by scanners, I'm either getting there before they are, and no one can get anywhere before I can get somewhere. I promise. Not even the scanners. I'll go hard, and because it's a game to me, and I like to win. I like to win games. Or I'll just, if they zig, I'll zag. Like if I know they're in there for the new stuff, I'll just, but again, I'm also not there looking necessarily for things for me to read. I'm in a place looking for stuff to stock the store with, or bring to a show. So I'll grab the old stuff. Doom, doom, doom. And I don't scan. I don't bring a scan, and anything that goes into my cart usually comes home with Steve. The only time something hits my cart and goes back is if there was damage on it that I didn't notice. So here's like these Young Jedi Knights. And usually, like when you find one, you're usually not just finding one. You're finding a bunch, even in the bins, because like either they came from all of the same Goodwill, or somebody just dropped. Oh, here's a what is this? The complete Whitman lot. Oh, this is fun. I didn't know Galaxy. I love these. What do they call these? What do they call these holograms? Or this? That's not the lenticular stuff. But anyway, this is cool. Jedi Quest is another one. And there's tons of these little itty bitty series, man. Just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. Omnibuses. You're so close to have that set. Yeah, that's awesome. It's not worth much, but it's so beautiful. And I had to get it. I'm looking at the chat. Those look like, they do look like Goosebumps. And that's another one. They don't pick up the Goosebumps either. They throw all that stuff back. They're not book people. They have no idea. They have no idea. And there's exceptions to that rule. Like usually there's one in the group, but a lot of times, man, it's just, But I think they've had kind of I actually have this box set. Ooh, don't fall books. I actually got that box set in that collection too. So a good chunk of this stuff is going to be in the Friday night show. I got to finish checking it all in and doing photographs. But anyway, guys, that's kind of all I wanted to do today. I wanted to make the argument that Star Wars, and that whole genre, He-Man, She-Ra, paperbacks are absolutely worth picking up. It is one of many ways to beat the scanners. If you're looking, not just to read, but for value driven kind of things. Appreciate you picking up a book, friend. Phantom Evil, Thirst Creatures of Forever. So, Christopher Pike. He's cool. He's an R.L. Steiny, isn't he? But anyway, yeah. So pick up the Star Wars stuff. Pick up the Star Trek stuff. Pick it up. And if it's paperbacks, don't discount the value, because it's really, really, really random sometimes on what's has a lot of value. And then also, and if you can't beat the scanners necessarily, you can always trade into what you want when you find some stuff on the periphery. You know what I'm saying? You find Star Wars Episode 1 Adventures, you get $135 for it, and then just go buy the Sarah Moss stuff brand new. That's usually when I was a young kid, like poor as shit. I'm still poor as shit. That's how I did it. I would get a collection. I would take the one or two things out of the collection that I would want to read, and then I would use the proceeds to break even, and then hopefully put down on the next collection and just continue to skim those one or two books off the top. And then I did that for 20 years, and then I became a bookstore guy. So, but money's tight, money's tough. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, on that note, we're going to take off. The next show that we're doing is tomorrow morning. Oop, not that one. I'm sorry. This one, I'm going to grab a bunch of books and we're going to flip through them and just kind of ADHD nerd out. Still kind of a Twitch vibe. We're going to chill out. On Friday night, we're doing this one. There's going to be a lot of really, really good bangers. And then I think we're doing another old shit show, because I got a lot of antique math books that it's going to be in this one, which I think you guys will enjoy. So, yeah. And all because we start on a topic doesn't mean we got to stay on the topic. You know what I'm saying? We can fucking go everywhere. It doesn't matter. I'm just glad. I just want to talk about books and shit. I'll try to pick up something that can help start the conversation. You know what I mean? And then, just kind of let it go wherever it goes. Pivot. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, on that note, let's see who we can raid. And then we can get out of here. Yeah, let me know what you find out. Let Let me know what you find. Yeah, I had no idea. It kind of looks like a leather shoe almost. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to probably raid the book nerd. I raid her a lot. She's really cool. She does a good job. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me. We do this, try to do this every Monday, some sort of like nerd chat, just kind of start the week. We try to do it twice a week at least, but so yeah, it was a good time. So let me send you over there and then we'll be back. Cassie, God love you. You're so supportive. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the conversation. Like it's so much like, this is so much easier when you have like someone to talk to. So like, I love all you guys. I love you guys rock. So, have a good Monday. Start your week strong. Be cool. Be safe. Head on a swivel when you're out there and, see you tomorrow morning.